What really happened to Family Affair child star Anna Jones? Her rise to fame was dazzling, but behind the bright lights of Hollywood, a much darker story was unfolding. From a beloved TV icon to a heartbreaking downfall, Anna's tragic journey exposes the dark side of child stardom, one filled with relentless pressure, personal struggles, and an industry that failed to protect its youngest talents. How did a rising star with the world at her feet spiral into tragedy? What led to her shocking final moments? And why does her story remain one of the most haunting cautionary tales in Hollywood history? In today's deep dive, we unravel the truth behind Anna Jones's rise and fall, uncovering the hidden struggles, the devastating choices, and the shocking events that led to her untimely passing. Stay with us until the end to learn the full story, because this is one you won't want to miss. If you love uncovering Hollywood's most tragic and shocking stories, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Unraveled. We bring you the untold stories behind the stars, exposing the secrets and scandals hidden behind the fame. Turn on notifications so you never miss our latest deep dives. Now, let's get into the tragic story of Anna Jones. In 1976, former child star Anna Jones was found lifeless at a friend's residence following a night of partying. As law enforcement delved into the details of the tragic event, they uncovered unsettling truths about what truly transpired that fateful evening. During her early years in Hollywood, Anna Jones captivated audiences across the United States with her endearing portrayal of Buffy Davis in the CBS sitcom Family Affair. However, as has been the case with many child actors throughout history, the seemingly dazzling and glamorous world of show business often masked a far darker reality lurking beneath the surface. Unfortunately, Anna's story was no different from the all-too-familiar tale of young stars who struggled behind the scenes. Born as Mary and Nisa Jones on March 11, 1958, in the state of Indiana, Anna was the eldest child in her family. Not long after the birth of her younger brother, Paul, the Jones family relocated to California. This move would eventually shape Anna's destiny in ways no one could have foreseen. But her life's struggles had already begun long before she ever stepped foot onto a television set. Her parents' marriage fell apart soon after their relocation, plunging Anna and her brother into the middle of an acrimonious custody battle that stretched on for several years. In the end, the court ruled in favor of her father. However, during the prolonged legal disputes, Anna remained in the care of her mother, Mary, who had always recognized her daughter's natural talent and was determined to nurture it, perhaps with a bit too much force. Mary was relentless in her efforts to cultivate Anna's potential, enrolling her in dance classes at the tender age of 4. Their new neighbors in California quickly took notice of the young girl's charm and encouraged Mary to take Anna to auditions for television commercials. Success came almost instantly. By the age of 6, Anna was already appearing in advertisements for breakfast cereals and other household products. Over the next 2 years, she starred in several more commercials, but this early career was merely a stepping stone to the stardom that awaited her. When she was 8 years old, Anna experienced the breakthrough moment that most aspiring young actors could only dream of. A producer took notice of her talent and cast her as Buffy Davis in CBS's new family sitcom Family Affair, which premiered in 1966. The show followed the story of 3 orphan children who were sent to live with their wealthy uncle, creating a heartwarming premise that resonated with viewers across the country. Anna was the perfect choice for the role. Physically, she also fit the part exceptionally well. Though she was 8 at the time of casting, she was small for her age, which allowed her to convincingly portray the 6-year-old character of Buffy. Audiences were immediately drawn to her bright smile and blonde pigtails, and in no time, Family Affair and its young star became household names. As the show's popularity skyrocketed, So too did the demands placed upon its young cast, particularly Anna. The grueling production schedule left her little time for a normal childhood. Filming took place year-round, and Anna often found herself working up to 7 days a week to meet the network's strict deadlines. Despite the pressure, Anna's character, Buffy, became an overnight sensation. The show climbed the ratings and soon secured its place as one of CBS's most successful sitcoms. Buffy's signature accessory, her beloved doll Mrs. Beasley, was so iconic that the network capitalized on her popularity by producing a real-life version of the doll, which quickly became the best-selling toy in America. Merchandise featuring Anna's likeness, including coloring books, lunchboxes, clothing lines, and even a children's cookbook, flew off the shelves. Throughout her years in the spotlight, Anna was known for her kind-hearted nature, particularly her devotion to her younger brother Paul. Whenever she received gifts, she insisted that Paul be given one as well. If this wasn't possible, she would often give away her own presents just to ensure that he never felt left out. Her warmth and generosity extended beyond her family. The cast and crew of Family Affair frequently praised her intelligence and welcoming personality. One co-star later recalled how Anna always went out of her way to befriend guest actors, making them feel comfortable on set. Her charm even seemed to capture the attention of some of Hollywood's biggest stars. Despite only appearing in one feature film, she made a memorable mark in 1969 when she landed a small role in The Trouble with Girls, alongside none other than Elvis Presley. Although Anna's film career was brief, her television appearances were numerous. Between 1967 and 1971, she was a guest on several popular talk shows, including The Merv Griffin Show and The Dick Cavett Show. In 1967, she even had the rare honor of presenting an award at that year's Emmy Awards, making her one of the youngest presenters in the event's history. However, fame was beginning to take a toll on her. While Family Affair provided her with job security that many young actors envied, Anna increasingly felt trapped by the role of Buffy. She began to resent the character that had catapulted her to stardom, viewing the part as overly childish and restrictive. Her growing frustration became noticeable on screen, and as the seasons progressed, her performances lost some of their former enthusiasm. This decline in energy coincided with a dip in the show's ratings. By 1971, after 5 successful seasons, CBS decided to cancel Family Affair. At just 12 years old, Anna was relieved to be free from the role she had come to loathe, eager to explore new opportunities. However, escaping Buffy Davis's shadow would prove to be a daunting challenge. Desperate to break away from her wholesome image, Anna sought out edgier roles. She auditioned for the part of Regan McNeil in The Exorcist, 1973, hoping that playing a young girl possessed by a demon would showcase her versatility. However, director William Friedkin ultimately decided against casting her. Unable to imagine the sweet-faced Anna in such a horrific role, the part instead went to Linda Blair. Undeterred, Anna pursued another drastic transformation, auditioning for the role of Iris, a child street worker, in Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver, 1976. The character was a far cry from Buffy, but once again, Anna was overlooked. The role ultimately went to Jodie Foster. The repeated rejections sent Anna into a downward spiral. As she entered her teenage years with few professional prospects, she began to embrace a newfound sense of rebellion. She experimented with substance use and developed a habit of shoplifting. She attempted to hold down ordinary jobs, but found it difficult to maintain employment. Those close to her reported that her behavior had become increasingly erratic. Tragedy struck in 1974 when Anna's father died from cardiovascular disease just 4 days before her 16th birthday. Though her mother, Mary, was still her legal guardian, Anna was often left to her own devices. frequently vanishing for days at a time with friends her mother disapproved of. Mary's growing concern led her to file multiple missing persons reports whenever Anna disappeared for extended periods. In 1976, upon turning 18, Anna gained access to the money she had earned as a child star, which had been kept in a trust fund. The payout was substantial, amounting to nearly $200,000. Rather than securing a stable future for herself, she squandered the fortune in just a few months, primarily on partying and substance abuse. On the night of August 27, 1976, Anna attended a gathering in Oceanside, California, with her boyfriend and friends. The festivities continued into the early hours of August 28th at the home of a friend's father. By morning, Anna was found unresponsive. She had suffered a fatal overdose. Investigations revealed disturbing evidence that a doctor named Don Carlos Mozos had been supplying Anna with illicit prescriptions. Authorities arrested Mozos just 6 days later, but before he could face justice, he passed away in December 1976. Anna's family later sued Mozos' estate, but the court ruled that he was only 30% responsible, resulting in a significantly reduced settlement. Years later, tragedy struck once more. Anna's beloved brother, Paul, died of an overdose in 1984. Anna Jones's story remains a haunting reminder of the dark realities of childhood fame. Anna Jones was not the only member of the family affair cast to suffer an untimely fate. The unfortunate trajectory of several of her co-stars only further underscored the deep emotional and psychological toll that the entertainment industry can inflict on its most vulnerable talents. Sebastian Cabot, the British actor who played Mr. Giles French, the devoted butler to the orphan children and family affair, was a seasoned performer known for his sophisticated and authoritative demeanor. Despite his refined on-screen presence, Cabot's health had been a concern for some time. Just a few years after the show's cancellation, tragedy struck once again. In 1977, he suffered a debilitating stroke and, unfortunately, did not survive. He passed away at the age of 59, marking yet another sorrowful loss in the family affair legacy. Another heartbreaking case was that of Brian Keith, the beloved actor who portrayed Bill Davis, the wealthy bachelor forced to become the guardian of his orphan nieces and nephew. Keith had a long and distinguished acting career that spanned decades, earning him recognition beyond his role in Family Affair. However, his later years were filled with hardships, both personal and physical. By the late 1990s, he had been battling lung cancer and emphysema, conditions that severely deteriorated his quality of life. The immense pain and declining health took their toll on him, and in 1997, he chose to end his own life at the age of 75. His death sent shockwaves through Hollywood, serving as yet another tragic reminder of how fame does not always guarantee happiness. Anna's mother, Mary, endured even more heartbreak beyond the loss of her daughter. 8 years after Anna's passing, Mary experienced another devastating blow when her son, Paul, also succumbed to substance abuse. On March 15, 1984, just days after what would have been Anna's 26th birthday, Paul overdosed and was pronounced dead. He was only 24 years old. The loss of both her children within less than a decade was an unimaginable tragedy for Mary, a sorrow that no parent should have to endure. Anna Jones's life, career, and tragic downfall became emblematic of the darker realities lurking beneath the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, particularly for child actors. Her story serves as a somber cautionary tale, highlighting how the entertainment industry often fails to protect its youngest stars from the immense pressures placed upon them. The image of her bright smile and pigtails on screen was in stark contrast to the difficulties she faced behind the scenes, as the struggles of growing up under the public eye proved to be overwhelming. The media, eager to capitalize on the tragedy, followed every development in her story, dissecting her rise and fall with relentless scrutiny. The details of her substance use, her legal troubles, and the rapid depletion of her finances were all laid bare for public consumption, leaving little room for privacy or dignity in her final days. Instead of offering support, the world merely watched as another young starlet became a victim of the very industry that once celebrated her. Anna's life is a tragic testament to the vulnerability of child actors in Hollywood, the immense expectations placed upon them, the loss of personal identity, and the challenges of transitioning into adulthood under constant scrutiny have led many young stars down similarly destructive paths. While her name may not be as widely remembered as some of Hollywood's biggest legends, the impact of her story remains significant. It stands as a warning to the entertainment industry about the dangers of pushing young performers into the spotlight without adequate safeguards for their well-being. In the end, Anna was laid to rest in the place she loved the most, the ocean. After a small, private funeral service, her family chose to scatter her ashes over the Pacific, granting her a final sense of peace in the waters she had always cherished. The story of Anna Jones is not just one of fame and misfortune. It is a stark reminder of the fragility of childhood innocence when thrust into the ruthless machinery of show business. Though her time in the spotlight was brief, her legacy endures as a poignant reflection of the need for greater protection and care for young actors navigating the often treacherous landscape of Hollywood. Anna Jones's tragic journey through Hollywood and her ultimate downfall is not an isolated case. Her story aligns with a pattern seen throughout the history of the entertainment industry, young performers being thrust into fame at an early age, only to struggle with its pressures as they grow older. The bright lights of stardom often obscure the dangers that lurk behind the scenes, leaving many child actors vulnerable to the overwhelming weight of expectations, isolation, and, in some cases, exploitation. The entertainment industry, particularly during the mid-20th century, had few regulations to protect young stars. The rapid rise to fame that Anna experienced meant that she spent her formative years in a high-pressure environment, often treated as a commodity rather than a child. While her character, Buffy Davis, became a household name and captured the hearts of millions, Anna herself was struggling with the harsh reality of being a child actor. The long hours, the demanding schedules, and the loss of a normal childhood all took a toll on her. Her attempts to break free from the image that had been crafted for her were met with resistance from an industry that often typecast young actors, leaving her with few opportunities to evolve beyond her most famous role. When Family Affair was canceled in 1971, Anna was just 12 years old. Unlike some of her peers, she did not transition smoothly into adult roles. While she longed to shed the image of Buffy and take on more mature, challenging characters, the industry was unwilling to see her as anything other than the sweet, innocent child America had come to adore. Despite her talent and experience, casting directors found it difficult to imagine her in grittier, more complex roles. This was evident in her failed attempts to secure parts in The Exorcist and Taxi Driver, both of which could have redefined her career. As the rejections piled up, Anna found herself adrift. The structured, controlled environment of working on a television set was suddenly gone, leaving her without a clear path forward. The lack of guidance, coupled with the emotional toll of constant rejection, led her to seek escape in reckless behavior. With newfound financial independence upon turning 18, she had the means to indulge in excess without restriction. Unfortunately, rather than providing her with stability, the money only fueled her self-destructive tendencies. The fortune she had accumulated during her years as a child star disappeared within months, spent on parties, extravagant purchases, and substance abuse. Her rapid decline culminated in the events of August 27, 1976. That night, Anna and a group of friends gathered in Oceanside, California, for what was supposed to be another night of celebration. However, the carefree atmosphere of the party masked the dangerous levels of substance use that would ultimately lead to her demise. By the following morning, she was found lifeless. The coroner's report painted a grim picture. Her body had endured an overdose of staggering proportions. The levels of substances found in her system were so extreme that even seasoned professionals were shocked. As news of her death spread, the media frenzy intensified. Sensational headlines focused on the tragic irony of a beloved child star meeting such a devastating end. Reports dissected her downfall, exposing the reckless behavior and struggles she had faced in her final years. The press, which had once celebrated her as America's sweetheart, now reduced her to another cautionary tale of Hollywood excess. While some articles expressed sympathy, many framed her story as yet another example of a star who had squandered her potential. In the aftermath of her death, investigators uncovered disturbing details about Dr. Don Carlos Mossos, a physician known for supplying high-risk prescriptions with little regard for their consequences. Anna was just one of many young people who had obtained dangerous substances from him. Witnesses described his clinic as a revolving door for troubled youth seeking easy access to powerful medications. His practice operated with alarming laxity. Patients needed only to provide identification before being handed prescriptions in exchange for small fees. His willingness to distribute these substances indiscriminately made it dangerously easy for vulnerable individuals like Anna to obtain lethal doses. 6 days after Anna's death, authorities arrested Mossos on multiple charges related to the illegal distribution of controlled substances. His arrest was met with widespread media coverage, as many speculated about the extent of his involvement in Hollywood's underground drug scene. However, justice would never be fully served. Mossos, who suffered from several severe health conditions, was hospitalized later that year. In December 1976, just months after Anna's passing, he died in the hospital, escaping the full legal consequences of his actions. Anna's family, still grieving her loss, pursued legal action against Mossos' estate. They sought compensation, arguing that his reckless prescribing practices had directly contributed to her untimely death. However, the legal system provided little comfort. In 1979, the court ruled that Mossos bore only partial responsibility, assigning him just 30% of the blame. The result was a significantly reduced settlement, $79,500, a fraction of the amount initially sought. The ruling did little to ease the pain of Anna's loved ones, who were left with the devastating reality that the man who had played a role in her downfall would never truly be held accountable. If losing Anna had not been painful enough, Mary Jones would experience yet another unthinkable tragedy in 1984. Anna's brother, Paul, who had been her closest companion and one of the few constants in her life, followed a similarly tragic path. Struggling with his own demons, he too fell into substance abuse. On March 15th, just days after what would have been Anna's 26th birthday, Paul overdosed and passed away at the age of 24. For Mary, the loss of both of her children to the same destructive forces was an unbearable burden. The cast of Family Affair was no stranger to misfortune. Anna was the first of several key actors from the show to suffer a tragic end. Sebastian Cabot, the distinguished British actor who had played the role of Mr. French, suffered a stroke in 1977 and passed away at the age of 59. Brian Keith, who had portrayed Bill Davis, endured years of health struggles before ultimately taking his own life in 1997. These successive losses cast a shadow over the legacy of the beloved television series. transforming it into a haunting reminder of how fleeting life can be. Anna Jones's story serves as a stark cautionary tale about the dangers of childhood fame. Her rise to stardom was rapid and dazzling, but behind the scenes, she faced challenges that few could understand. Her attempts to navigate a world that had defined her by a single role left her feeling lost and isolated. Without the right support system in place, she fell into a downward spiral that ended in tragedy. The broader conversation surrounding child actors has evolved in recent years, with increased awareness of the risks associated with early fame. Many former child stars have spoken openly about their struggles, advocating for better protections and mental health resources for young performers. While changes have been made, stories like Anna's remain a sobering reminder that fame, particularly at a young age, often comes with a heavy price. In the end, Anna was returned to the place she had always loved the most, the ocean. Her ashes were scattered over the Pacific, granting her a final sense of peace. Her name may not be among the most well-known figures in Hollywood history, but her story continues to resonate. It stands as a powerful reminder of the vulnerabilities that come with fame and the importance of safeguarding those who find themselves thrust into the spotlight at an early age. Though the world remembers her as the bright-eyed, pigtail girl from Family Affair, her legacy is far more complex. It is a tale of innocence lost, of a girl who once had the world at her feet but struggled to find her place in it. It is a call for change, urging the entertainment industry and society as a whole to do better in protecting its youngest and most vulnerable talents. Anna's story, though tragic, is one that should never be forgotten. Anna Jones's heartbreaking story is one of talent, fame, and the devastating consequences of Hollywood's relentless pressure on young stars. Her rise to stardom was swift, but the struggle to escape the role that made her famous ultimately led to a tragic downfall. Her life serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder that behind the glitz and glamour of the entertainment industry lies a reality that is often far darker. From a beloved child star to a tragic headline, Anna's story is a stark warning about the dangers of early fame, the lack of industry safeguards, and the importance of mental health support for young performers. Her fate, along with the tragedies that befell her co-stars, highlights the urgent need for change in how Hollywood treats its youngest talents. Though her time in the spotlight was short-lived, her story remains relevant, urging us to reflect on the cost of fame and the price that many pay for it. If you found Anna Jones's story compelling and want to uncover more shocking and untold truths from Hollywood's history, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Unraveled. We bring you the most fascinating, tragic, and eye-opening stories from the world of entertainment. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. And join us as we continue to explore the hidden stories behind the stars you thought you knew. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.